In today's episode, I'm taking you to Vancouver, Washington, and we're gonna go hit some of my very favorite Goodwill spots and a retail thrift store, which I actually haven't been to in a few months. Vancouver, Washington is one of my favorite places to go thrifting. I have found some amazing things here. I don't know how many of you have watched my YouTube video that kind of went viral here on YouTube. I will put it up here and link it in the description below. If you haven't seen that one, it's kind of fun because instead of taking my time going through several thrift stores, I ended up hitting, I think, around 12 thrift stores in one single day so that I could see how much I could find and tally it up at the end. But one of the best things that I found in that episode was the Robert Sperry Pottery, and I found it at the 4th Plane Goodwill in Vancouver, Washington. So that is going to be our first stop today. So let's go ahead and head inside and see what we can find. I'm going to explain a little bit more about why I am picking up this oak frame from probably the 1980s when we get back in the car. I have an exciting project coming up and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about it. I am also going to get this beautiful carved wood frame. It's got great design on it and it looks like it is only $7.99. I think I'm gonna pick up this one too because I wanna test my project on a few different types of wood. I'm hoping that the oak will work, but just in case it doesn't, I wanna have a few backup options. The one thing I always look for with my picture frames when I buy them secondhand is to make sure the corners are tight. It's really difficult to retighten corners of frames, so always check all 4 corners. This one is $9.99, but it's actually half off because blue is the color of the week. Whenever I come across copper or brass pans, I always take a look at them to see if they have any stamps or signature on them. The ones that are made in France can be very valuable. This one has a nice weight to it, but it's not marked. But even being unmarked at $7.99, that's a great deal. Pots like this typically sell for between $25 and $45. But if you find a good old one from France, it could be worth upwards of $100 or more. This is probably from the 1970s. It's a stoneware vase made in Japan. It's only $3.99. It does have a chip in the top, but I just happen to have gone to Japan and learned about kintsugi, and I know how to fix this. One of my favorite parts about Japanese culture is they take things that might be seen as broken. They consider them wabi-sabi, perfectly imperfect. They put in the time and effort to repair it so that it can have another life instead of just throwing it away. So I'm gonna do my best, and this is a perfect piece that's inexpensive that I can try to learn on. I have never heard of this game, but it's called Captain's Mistress. Have any of you ever heard of Captain's Mistress or played this? I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video to learn how it's played. There are similar comps selling online for between $40 and $70, and of course you're always gonna have that first dibs at $3.75. The wood grain is the reason that I'm buying it. It's a beautiful box, and maybe I'm just gonna have to learn how to play Captain's Mistress. Nothing too exciting, but it's a nice handmade wooden vase. It's $2.99 and it's got a blue tag, so it's only $1.50. I never underestimate a chunk of wood sitting on a shelf in Goodwill because once you put a flower in it, every vignette looks better with a beautiful piece of wood to give it warmth and texture. Kind of at the end of sweater season and I'm always looking for things that are crossover. So I like this because it's got a little bit of sweater in the middle to keep you warm, but it has sleeves that will let air in. So it's nice for layering in the springtime. Sadly, no Robert Sperry inside there today for us, but I did find a few things I'm really excited about, including the picture frames. And it really cracks me up that I ended up purchasing picture frames that 10 years ago I was buying here at Goodwill for $1.99, refinishing and selling on Etsy. For those of you who don't know, my first dabble into self-employment and being an entrepreneur was actually an Etsy picture frame shop. And it's very nostalgic for me because it was a very exciting time for me in my life. I had left my full-time job in sales, took a risk and took $200, and I started Left Coast Revivals off a $200 investment, and everything I've built with my company since has all been because of that first risk that I took and that $200 and Goodwill. So it cracked me up that I am starting to buy picture frames again, but this time for my own gallery wall. Instead of doing other people's, I'm finally going to be doing a project that I've been wanting to do for a few years, and I just haven't taken the time to do it. Here's what I'm planning to do. In our basement, we have a lot of wall space, and instead of hanging a bunch of cool artwork on there, I've decided that I want to hang pictures of our life. It's the one thing I think our home is missing, and that's pictures of our exciting travels and also our families. So instead of buying new picture frames, I really want to upcycle frames, but I'm not into painting frames like I used to be. So I think I have a plan. This was one of the staple frames in our collections when we used to have our picture frame sets. It's made out of solid oak. It was very prevalent in the 80s and 90s, so you can find them often. And I'm gonna take my sweet time and I'm gonna try to find about 50 of these frames in various sizes. I'm gonna strip them and then I'm going to give them a light natural oak finish. And I think it's gonna look really good. I hope. I really am hoping this is gonna turn out good. So at the end of today's episode, we are gonna test it out on this frame right here, and we're gonna see how it turns out. I also got this one because it's got beautiful carved design into the wood. It was $6.99, but that is an incredible price for a nice solid carved wood frame. All right, our next stop is gonna be retail's thrift store, and then we're gonna hit one more Goodwill before we head home and test out the picture frames. Okay, my heart skipped a beat because I actually thought for a split second, based on the color and the shape, that this might have been a Haywood Wakefield dresser. Unfortunately, it is not, but it is a beautiful light maple. It's in really good condition. It has some gunk on it and a few light scratches, but that's nothing that a good cleaning and some wood oil can't fix. We're definitely bringing this home with us today. Sometimes it's really hard to look past a shelf when you've got things in it that are just made out of plastic, you've got fake flowers. But I always try to make sure that I don't overlook a nice piece of studio pottery just because it has terrible fake flowers in it. This one is only $1.49. It's a little plain, a little simple, but that means that it's going to be great for mixing in with other pottery that might have patterns. I love to entertain and have my friends over, and I always do charcuterie boards when I entertain because they're so easy to do and fun, and I love making a beautiful table setting. This one is nice. It's handmade. It's got this beautiful inlaid wood, and it's only $4.99. It's just a little bit thirsty, so I'm going to wood oil this with a mineral oil when I get home, and you won't believe how much that wood grain is going to pop. This is a great price. These can sell online for anywhere from $50 to $80. The last few times I've been here at Retails, I have not scored good jewelry. I used to back in the day, but it's been a while. I'm so excited because it looks like they have fully restocked these counters, and I see at least 10 pieces of sterling silver jewelry that I'm going to be picking up today. Here's my pile of all the things that I picked. The majority of these are between $4.99 and $9.99, and the value is at least $50 to $80 on each of the jewelry items. I'm pretty excited because this doesn't happen every day. All right, I got my mask on for protection, and we are gonna test out this clean strip. I've never used this one before, but it comes in a spray can.
And I am hopeful that we're gonna clean these beauties up and that they are gonna work. All right, I got the first coat on. These chemicals are nasty, so make sure you wear gloves, a mask, so that you stay safe. They're eating away through that varnish already, and you don't want them eating away through your skin. All right, let's check this out. Let's see if it worked. Oh my gosh. No way. Look at that. Wow. This is so awesome. It's just like goop. It comes right off. We'll see how it did in these little cracks here. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I got like a little plastic scraper too, but I have a couple other options too. I also have 000 grade steel wool and then a plastic brush. This is good for all these little nooks and crannies. As you can see, it's just kind of coming right out. Wow, I didn't even know that this blonde color was under there. I was hoping. Okay, let's see how this one did. Now, this one's the oak. Oh, interesting. It does look like it got the stain off too. I could not be more excited about how the frame turned out. Look at this color. Oh my goodness. I did not honestly think once I started scraping that residue off that it was actually gonna get this light. This is exactly what I was hoping for. It's that perfect kind of ashy blonde, very natural color. And I think it's gonna look really great with some of our photos. Jesse and I did a professional photo shoot when we were in Italy hosting our first group trips. And I'm so excited to start getting these along with some of our other travels and family photos, especially ones from our childhood, framed in these oak frames. This honestly turned out better than I'd hoped. I think it looks like a $75 Pottery barn frame, and I paid $1.99. I'm not a fan of working with those nasty chemicals, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save these up from Goodwill in batches of maybe 10 to 15 of them. I need a lot of frames. We're doing the entire basement in frames. So it's gonna take me a little while to collect all of the 8x10s and 11x14s that I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna save them up in batches. That way I'm working with the chemicals less often. And I think instead of the spray, I'm gonna use the paint on. I just don't like using aerosol things when it comes to chemicals. Even though I wore a mask, I still felt icky about it. You can't be too safe when it comes to those harsh chemicals. We have a couple sample colors for the basement wall. They're all a little darker than our countertop here, but they're kind of a charcoaly gray. We really want something dark for contrast, but we want to lighten it up with lots of light colored matting and frames. We love the idea of the dark walls, but we don't want the entire room to feel dark. But I also love the look of black matting. So my question to you is, should we do a mixture of black frames with black matting and the oak frames with a cream matting? I felt like the white was too harsh. I'm liking the cream. Do you like the idea of mixing black with the natural wood, or should we just do everything light and bright? Comment below and let us know what you think. So this is the mineral oil that I use that is food grade and it's food safe. And anything that I'm gonna eat off of or potentially put any kind of food on, I always use a food safe mineral oil. I will link this along with the one that I use on furniture in the description. If you ever miss which episode I talk about my wood oil in, just know that you can go to my Amazon store and you can find that direct link to all of the wood oils that I use. I just love the way that it makes the wood grain pop. It also hides a lot of imperfections too. So we're gonna let this sit on here and then we're gonna clean this off and I'll show you how it turns out. Unfortunately, I don't have any charcuterie board snacks on hand right now, but check it out. My favorite cheese knife fits in there perfectly. I think you can never have too many of these special boards for entertaining. I love putting out snacks when my friends and family come over. I've been kind of working on cleaning this dresser up, and see how it has all these little black scuff marks? I knew because I tested a little spot that it was gonna come off pretty easy, and I've just got a little bit of Goo Gone on here, and it just kind of gets all that icky gunk, all those little skid marks off of there. So it already worked really good on the surface. And then once that dries, I will give it a nice cleaning and wood oiling, and it should be looking pretty.
I'm actually filming this closeout with my intro, so I don't know what I found today. I hope I found some really good stuff. If I did, please let me know in the comments below. I've got a really busy afternoon once I wrap up my thrifting because we just got home from the Japan trip. So I've got a lot of errands to run and some things I need to take care of. So I'm filming my closeout right now just so I don't forget later. So hopefully I found some good stuff today. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite thing that I found was. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next adventure.